Ve Nihat kaptırıyor topu. Ali Tanrıoğlu çok süratli. Ali orta yapacak. Sert orta. Sert orta.
Welcome everyone back to beautiful Bursa, and as you can see we're jumping straight into the Football Manager 21 action. There's no time for me to do extra screens because of course this episode's going to be long enough. I've got quite a lot of things to cover. We do have the season review, not the same season review we did at the end of the last episode, but this little brief one, the Bursaspor 2022-23 season review, which just quickly goes over the fact that we finished third place and we get a Euro Cup spot, compared to these two who get to go to Champions League and these two who go into the qualification playoffs for the Europa Cup. Or is that another competition? I'm not quite sure how the EC2 thing works compared to EC, but we're in the proper Euro Cup. So we're off to the Europa League. We then have the season performance analytics even. I'm not going to go over the analytics, so feel free to have a little look if you're interested, but I'm not too fussed about going into depth with them. The main thing I wanted to bring us back at this point for was this, of course, the club vision and expectations. Considering we overperformed quite a bit this gone season, it's interesting to see where the board thinks we're at. So, we of course have 3 competitions to focus on: the League, the Cup and the Euro Cup. So, play entertaining football. They want us to continue that. They want us to continue to develop players using the youth system, but that's only favoured, so it's not highly regarded at all. Then again, the entertaining football isn't. That's only 2 bars as well. We then have 2 bars on play defensive solid football. I think we can manage that one. We've done that pretty decently in the past year. We then have play high tempo pressing football. That's desired. That is the main focus. Then we have our 5-year plan. Now, work within the wage budget. You know I do that all of the time. We have end of season now. They want us to get top half. That was of course my personal goal last year. We met that easily and we finished in 3rd. So I think we can achieve that this year, even with the European football, which is going to put a bit more pressure on our fixture list. It's going to mean we're going to need to rotate players more. I think we can still manage top half. Pushing for Europe again might be a bit of a struggle, but we'll see. We'll see how our depth gets on and how we get on generally throughout the year. So those are our plans for this year. They are looking to sell the club, weirdly. End of 24-25, that's when my contract ends, and they're still looking to sell the club. So we're just going to accept the current vision. We're not going to negotiate any of that. We have the squad dynamics. Now, how are they looking? Well, we have no team leaders, which is a little bit of a worry. We have a lot of highly influential players. These are main starters, though, for the most part, aren't they? Yeah. Oblor is the only one who might drop out of the starting lineup. We then have Recap, but he's going on his way out. Omar, of course. I'm not sure what we're doing with Omar, to be honest. He's decent, but I don't think, for where we are at, if we want to be pushing for Europe, I don't think Omar is our backup left back for that situation. Musin Yildirim, I think we can get away with him as our backup right back. Sinan Kert, again, I don't know. I think he overperformed. He did great for us, but I don't think he's probably the player to have as our backup. We then have Mad, of course. He's going to be sold if I can find a destination for him. Mailman, he's of course starting left back. Milinkovic and Schmelzer. 13 others. We're not going to go over the 13 others because we will be here all day. Now, end of season team meeting. I don't think you guys need to sit through that. We don't want the episode to be too long, so I'll do that between now and the next segment. We, of course, do have our injuries. Now, who had the most injuries this season? Well, that went to Aaron Gullier. He had 5, and his longest was a 4-week twisted ankle. The longest injury spell was for a dislocated shoulder to Seren and a torn calf muscle, Jesus, to Kamil Tekin, which is not great for our youngsters to be getting torn calf muscles and dislocated shoulders. Luckily, he's not goalkeeper, so the dislocated shoulder shouldn't do him too much harm. And he's transfer listed, so he can't be one of our better ones. No, is the 1-star, maybe 2-star one. Transfer listed in for the obvious reason. We want our youngsters now to be 4-star, 5-star, minimum 3 if we're just going to have them as a utility player for the youth squad. Speaking of which, the youth squad managed to go up via the playoffs as well. So they are now in the top division of the youth section. I believe that also brought in a little bit of cash. I want to say it was about 80,000 for them managing to do that. So that was also nice. But then have me, I was named the Turkish Super League manager of the season, and considering I had a 60% win rate with a team expected to fight relegation and went to Europe, I think that's pretty reasonable. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think I did a pretty good job, don't you? President Kamat has praised me for winning the Turkish Manager of the Season award. That is nice to see. Bursa players named in the... Okay, so we had Zubzuk. That was it. Zubzuk and a few players surrounded by Fenerbahce. It's Fenerbahce plus 5 of us. So literally Fenerbahce has more than half of the team. That's ridiculous. 2 from Galatasaray, 1 from Trabzonspor, 1 from us, 1 from Goztepe. I always forget how their name is spelt, so that is that. Besiktas, of course, disappointing for them, didn't manage to get anyone in that team. Besiktas were announced as the winners of the Fair Play Award though, so that's good to see. They are a nice team to play against. Congratulate Zubzuk on the award. Super League awards announced. He got the Turkish goalkeeper of the season. I think that's a good idea to give Samata. That man was disgusting last year, so I'm not surprised. We are going to give him a handshake. Congratulations. We're not going to hug him. That's a little weird, even for me. So that is that. We are going to progress. As you can see, we haven't got our budget yet because we are, of course, still in the last season. If anything crops up before the new season, I will, of course, show you that. And let's work our way towards that first game of the season. Right, ladies and gents, it's time for the rules for the upcoming season. As you can see, there is a few little tweaks to the rules as per usual, but there's some rather interesting ones, I will say, in this. So there is 2 under-22 players trained by the club for 3 years, 15 to 18, in the starting 11. So Aaron, who's been a pain in my backside and keeps wanting to be a starter, might actually have to be a starter. So I might actually have to offer him a contract that he wants. We then have eligibility rules change. Players cannot play in competitive matches for more than 2 clubs. That's not going to be an issue. Maximum of 10 foreign players registered in the squad overall. That's going to be interesting because we have 7 in our starting lineup anyway, and we have a couple that we want to push to the bench. So we do need to keep an eye on that. We then have squad registration maximum of 9 foreign players over 23 years. Over 23 players. Squad registration minimum of 6 under 23 players trained at the club for 3 years, and a minimum of 8 under 23 players developed in the nation. Interesting. We've got to have 6 of our own, 8 that are from the nation. This is going to be interesting, trying to balance all this up. Disciplinary, that's not going to be an issue. Transfer window, though, this is where it gets spicy. So as you can see, we've got 15th of June to the 1st of September is our transfer window for the first transfer window. We then have another one which is 1st of July to the 1st of September. That's our domestic transfers only. This is our regular transfer window. And then our second one, which is usually January, as you can see, that's usually 1st of July to the 1st of September, and that's usually 1st January to the 1st of September. It's all been wrapped up into this 15th of June to the 1st of September, and it's domestic transfers only. That's an interesting one. So we are going to have an interesting approach going into next year. Only players registered can play. Obviously, domestic under 22 players are automatically eligible. Okay. The match squad cannot have more than 0 players on youth contracts. What? Cannot have more than 0 players. Okay. The match squad must have at least one domestic goalkeeper, which is going to be Atbeck, probably on the subs bench. There must be, yeah, we've done that. The match squad must have at least 3 under 25 players trained in Turkey. Well, that'll be covered by our bench. There must be no more than 6 foreign players in the starting 11. Yeah, I think Aaron's coming into the starting 11, ladies and gents. That is basically the nail in the coffin. It was 7, I believe, last year. It's now down to 6 foreign players. And in our back line, we've got 3 in our back line. Our goalkeeper's a foreign player. That's 4. We then have Shirok, making it 5. 6 would be our striker that we plan to sign. And then Milinkovic drops for Aaron, is probably the best in that regard. And then we'll have a couple sat on the bench who can come on in place of other foreign players, so it doesn't actually make a difference in that regard. So, board request meeting to discuss club improvements. Okay, let's attend this meeting, see what they've got on their mind. We would like to gauge your opinion on whether the available budget for wage allocation to the scout department is sufficient. Do you think the budget should be increased? I mean, I did actually take a little bit of our wage and put it in to the scout budget. So, I think it'd be a great idea and it would benefit the club. So, yeah, increase our scout wage budget and then I can actually put some of it back into our transfer budget because I did knock it up a notch. I put our scouting on to make sure we scout the entire country, and that was about 207,000 and we had about 170 grand. So I'll basically put the extra little bit in, but the extra little bit in is like 600 grand, so that's going to go a little bit further than we actually need it to go. So the fact they want to put even more in, we should be fine when it comes to scouting players. I would like to, yeah, whatever, we'll accept whatever changes you've decided. We then have squad selection rules. Now, minimum of 15, maximum 25, so we're working with a 25-man squad. I like to work with small squads anyway. I'd just like to have the 11 for our main rotation, the other 11 for our next rotation, then a few backups to make up the full 25. 2 goalkeepers as a minimum, 4 players trained in Bursa, trained in Turkey, minimum of 8, maximum of 10 foreign players, currently 11 in the squad, but we're getting rid of some of them. Some are going to retire, some of them are just leaving, and I have managed to sell a couple. You'll notice that in a little while. I'll show you those. I'm not going to reveal who has left us quite yet, but we do have a few leaving us. Then we have scout wage increase. Now, as you can see, that is what they planned to do. So I'll see you fine folks back in just a second when we have a little bit more news. Okay, ladies and gents, we have a bit more news. As you can see, we have 4.36 million from Super League TV rights for the forthcoming season. And we have the league fixtures to be released. Of course, you already know who we're going to be playing in today's episode. I don't quite know that one yet, but I'm going to find that one out now, and we're going to learn together who else we're going to possibly be playing in the upcoming episodes. So, we are kicking off the season against Konyaspor at home. We then play Hatayspor, Genleclaire Biligi, which I always butcher, at home. We're then back away against Kayserispor, Sivasspor at home. That's not the worst way of starting the season, but it's also not the best. We have a Euro Cup game in between these 2 games and another Euro Cup game here. So we're probably going to play the Euro Cup game. I guess this is 2 legs. So we'll probably just show the second leg. I think I'll just do that. I'll play the 3 in between and then we'll come back for the other leg, because there's no point in really doing both legs, honestly, on back-to-back episodes. So we'll skip out that leg, we'll come back for the second leg and do that on the second episode. And then I don't know what we're doing here. I guess we could possibly play Cas Impasa, because I can't remember doing them in a video. They've just come up, of course, from the league below, so it would be nice to get them into a video, and it's away from home. I then don't know where we go from there, because the Euro Cup, if we get through in the Euro Cup, I feel like it's probably going to fall somewhere in October or maybe even in September and mess up this possible game here. So I'm not going to plan too far ahead, but I think those are probably our next 3 fixtures, and then it's probably another Euro Cup game in here somewhere, and then maybe a Galatasaray, or we go to Ankara-Gucu or something like that. That's probably a rough idea of what our plan is, but first we have to get past whoever we get in the Euro Cup. And, well, we've got all of these little bits to go through, so I'm just going to accept that, because I've got sick of actually discarding stuff and then them coming back and going, no, we're going to keep this scout report, even though he's got less aggression than we actually want. So I've just started accepting them. It's like, accept them, stick them on the pile, we'll never actually peek at the pile. We have this guy, 20 aggression, 3-star, possibly 5-star. He could be an interesting prospect. I might have a little gander at him. We then have this guy. We're not buying him. His estimated value is 9.75 million. Now, if we somehow get taken over by some oil tycoon, then maybe we do go and get the Egyptian 18-year-old. But for now, he is definitely not on our radar, and I'm going to progress a little bit further. As you can see, we play Konyaspor in 53 days. We're yet to decide where we're going to go, of course, on our training. So we'll figure that one out. We'll figure some other news, and I'll bring you back when we have some more news in just a second. Right, everyone, it's record-breaking time. As you can see, Bears have splashed out on a record transfer fee. That is 4.5 million I've just spent on Julian Carranza. And, well, he comes from Cincinnati, of all places, here to Barca. He is our new record. He breaks the previous of 3 million for Bangura from AIK. So this is a very risky approach, but we didn't need many players, so I thought I'd splash the cash on our new striker, and let's have a little look at him. So Julian Carranza, whose name I'm going to butcher multiple times, as you can see, is valued at 6.5 million. He's only 23 years of age, so he's got room for development. He's got 4 under-20 caps and 3 under-20 goals in those 4 caps for Argentina. He's an amazing player. We have had to splash the cash both on his transfer fee and his wage. As you can see, he's on 17 grand per week till 2027 and a star player. But from his stats, you'll notice that's pretty reasonable. So we are going to be using him as a deep line forward, which isn't quite what he likes to do. So his finishing is 13, solid finishing, first touch 13, 9 on passing is a little bit low, but technical at 13 is very good. Vision's a bit low on 9, but teamwork is 12, 13 off the ball, 12 flair, 10 decision, 10 composure, 9 anticipation, 10 balance and 13 strength. All his physicals are amazing, most of his technicals are on point, and most of his mentals are too. So he comes in at 4-star, 4.5-star potential, right-footed striker, balanced on his personality. He ain't a good backup goalkeeper, so we're never going to be sliding him into goal. And, well, he runs with the ball down the right-hand side and shoots with power. He ain't going to be doing much running down the right-hand side, though, considering he's a lone striker. So, let's have a little look at his history. Well, he started off in Argentina, of course. He was at Banfield. He spent 5 years at Banfield before going for 4.6 million to Inter Miami. Inter Miami invested in him, and it was a poor investment. They didn't use him at all, and then he went on a free transfer the following season to Philadelphia. Don't know what Inter Miami was planning with him spending 4.6 million. We have paid just slightly less at 4.5 million, but we are not going to let him go on a free transfer, that is for sure. He then went to Philadelphia, like I said, on a free transfer, didn't play there. Didn't play for Chicago in the same year. Didn't play for LAFC the same year. Didn't play for Portland the same year, but he eventually then went to Cincinnati in 2021. Look at all them teams. Looks like he's like 50 with all these teams, but no. He went to Cincinnati, got 3 goals in 12 games, 1 assist and 2 player of the matches. I don't know how a guy gets bought for 4.6 million from Argentina by Inter Miami in 2020. Then in 2021, he has 4 teams who don't even attempt to use him before then playing for the 5th. No idea how that works. But the following season, he played a lot more games for Cincinnati. He played 31, scored 8 goals, got 2 assists, and 1 player of the match, getting him a 6.93. He then went to... didn't go to. He stayed at Cincinnati. They dropped his playing time, though. He went to 21 games last season instead of 31. Only scored 3 goals, got 2 assists, and 2 player of the matches. But still a 6.7. He ain't doing great. He ain't doing badly. But I think this is his time to shine. He's going to come to Turkey. Turkish weather should be a bit more nearer to Argentinian, I would say. So, yeah, he should be able to come here, do a job. And if not, this is probably the worst transfer I've ever made in a Football Manager game. So, we're going to see how this one pans out. But I overpaid, yet he's still valued at 6.5 million. So, I should be able to recoup a little bit of money on him. Now, there is some other transfer news, so we're going to get into that. Let's head to the transfer screen. As you know, we already have Tyler Blackett's coming in. Godinho is coming in also as a permanent, and we have Carranza. But on the way out, Abud Umar, he was a solid player for us, but he's getting past it. He's a little bit on the older side, 30 years of age. Solid Turkish, Kenyan international, and yeah, he was just dropping off. He was falling out of favour. We've got Blackett coming now in on the left hand side, so Blackett's got Mailman as his backup. There was no need to keep a third foreign player because we basically have to put our foreign players in the starting lineup or on the bench. We can't have a third choice foreign player in the same position, so we got rid of Abud Umar. We then have Batwan Kaur. Now he's gone out on loan. He isn't the greatest of youngsters, but we just sent him out. He's 2.5 star. Let him get a bit of development. The better ones I'm trying to keep at home for the most part, just so they can get homegrown status. We then have Sem Ulu. Sem Ulu has gone to Ranier, and well, he is 2 star. He's 3, maybe 4 star potential. And weirdly, Fenerbahce of all teams tried poaching him from us. They came in with okay, it's valued at 10. I think it was about 50. Roughly 50 is what they was offering for him. And I'm just like, no. Like, there's a reason you're offering me this, Fenerbahce. And it's because he has a little bit of development. So we're going to keep hold of him, let him develop, get some value, and we will sell him when he's actually worth a bit more. Mustafa Kaliskan also went to Konyaspor. He's gone for £220 per week. £95 per week is his wage. They're paying most of his wage, giving us a little bit of money on the side, which is essentially covering most of his wage. He's a decent player, but he's not good enough to be playing in our youth team. 1 star, 1.5 is his potential. So we're just going to build him up out of the club. Don't care if he goes on a free transfer, to be honest. He can do whatever. So get him out the door, get him getting a bit of football, and hopefully he can develop for his own personal game. Now, we do also have some news on the staffing front. Now, there isn't a staffing screen, so I can't necessarily go through, but as you can see, our coaching staff is literally the best in the league. Other than for managing, we are second behind Fenerbahce. Now, as you can see, we are lacking a few in the recruitment department. I did get a couple of recruitment analysts, both Turkish regens, so it was kind of pointless showing you those. If I brought in any sort of interesting names, I would have gone through them. I was looking at bringing in Liam Rossignol, for example, as a coach, but he wanted too much. All these ex-players, they always ask for too much money in this game, so he didn't end up coming. And then we, of course, have our foreign player rule issue. So as you can see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 foreign players right now. We do need to ship a couple out. I've currently got our B team set up, so let me just swap that to our A team. Our A team, of course, has got Carranza, and Mad is in the B team now. So if we just look at the foreign players, everybody is on the bench or in the starting lineup, other than Kun, who I'm getting out on loan. I could have sold him. I was happy to sell him for about 400,000 or so. The board, not so much. The board want 1.2 million. Nobody was going to offer us 1.2 million. So I thought, we'll send him out on loan. We can't sell him, so we need to get him out. Send him on loan. So he's going out on loan. We then... Actually, who is he going to? There we go. FSV Frankfurt is the team that's still in bid to loan him. There's a couple of clubs, players, countries. I'll get there in the end when I get to clubs. A couple of people coming in for him, but that's where he looks to be going. Now Diarra, he had an offer. He turned down a club, which is really irritating. He's probably just going to be left as unavailable yet again. Not sure what we're going to do with the Diarra situation. He's draining 3.6 grand per week, and he's still here till 2025, so he can technically do it for a couple of seasons, which is really irritating. Mad, he's only here for an extra season. I upset him and also upset Milinkovic, kind of, not on purpose. Well, it was on purpose. It was pointless, is the best way of putting it. I pointlessly upsetted our backup winger and backup striker because, as you all know, I've been trying to push out Mad just so we can get Turkish backups, you know? Mad didn't want to go, so Mad is now actually our backup striker, but not in the best of moods. Same with Milinkovic on the wing. I wanted a Turkish winger because we've got Turkish wingers in the starting lineup. If we bring on Milinkovic, then we have to take off another foreign player to bring in a Turkish player in a different position who might not necessarily be having a bad game. So that is why I wanted to fix all that. But both of those are now a little bit upset. I transfer listed them. They're now off the transfer list. They're now sitting on the bench as our backups, and hopefully they'll be happy with all the cup games and the extra games we're going to have this year. So that should pep them up a little bit. Now, I don't expect us to have any more transfers this year. As you can see, we've got 0 transfer budget. We've got 9 grand per week. I might make a loan or two if necessary. We do have quite a bit of depth in our team. Faith Friday, 2.5 star. I'm going to let him see out his contract, to be honest. He's been a good servant to us for the little bit he's been here. At 32 years of age, he's solid as a backup, so we'll leave him on the bench. He'll rotate in for Godinho. We'll, of course, bring on Ahmet in place of Kubilay, and that's how our central defence will work. I think going forward, we do need a new central defender to replace these, but we're not going to rush out to get one right now. I think we just need to get in a solid loan signing. Not sure where they'll play, though. So we've got a striker who's amazing. We now have 2 amazing youngsters starting on the wings due to the new rules. Mehmet Özkan is solid in central attacking. Turkish centre. Maybe we look for a central midfielder who can come in for Shirok. He's 3-star potential. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Ideally, possibly Turkish, just to give us that extra man, allowing us to bring a foreign player off the bench. So, yeah, I'll probably look to improve Shirok with a loan signing if we do anything this remaining transfer deadline, but I'll go have a little look at some players, see what I can do. If we don't bring any players in, you'll know because we'll be jumping into the match in the next segment. So I'll see you in just a second. Right, so this is some big news. As you can see, Barca get 50% of Burak transfer profit. So due to a sell-on clause guaranteeing 50% of the profit, Bursaspor will receive 3.1 million following Burak Kapak's £8 million move from Cenk Beligi to Galatasaray. Bursa will also receive an extra 775,000 in instalments. That's nice to see. The youngster has been on the transfer list at Cenk Beligi. Now, I did check him out. They was asking for over 8 million. I think they was asking for like 8.5. So there's no chance of us actually going in and buying him because I was considering doing that. Even with Gerkan being amazing on that right hand side, it would have been great to bring Kapak back, but Kapak is not going to be returning to us. He's going to be playing against us for Galatasaray. Hopefully we'll be able to steal him from them one day, but probably not, considering. And, well, yeah, we've made a massive 3 million just from that 50% add-on that I decided to add to that contract. Now, in this, we have Denizlispor made an offer of 15 grand. Yeah, well, Denizlispor, actually, what's your, no, yes, development. Denizlispor, you can clear off. Stop trying to steal our youngsters for less than what they're worth. Now, I have confirmed a few different transfers. As you can see, Kun is now out on loan, 400 grand loan, 41 per month. So 400 grand, total payments of 10. We then have Yaziki. He's gone for 120 grand to Akhisarspor, and well, he's been a decent 7 for us, and we've made 60 grand profit. We used him for 3 seasons, and he only played 1 game, so I think that was pretty good business on our part. We managed to use him for 1 whole game, and yet we managed to make 60 grand profit over 3 years. So that's not too bad. That probably covers his wages though, because he is on like a couple of grand a week. So yeah, we did have him for a few weeks. So if you take his wage into account, technically we made a loss on him, but that's not too much of a loss, and it's a very minimal loss considering the cover and having that option to use him if we wanted to use him, although we didn't utilise him, of course. Now we have Murat Kara, whatever. He's gone on a free transfer. Really don't care. I was sick seeing his name in our team, to be honest. He's 22 years of age, not young enough to go into the youngsters, not good enough to get into our team. He was just a waste of space. £45 per week. We was paying, actually we're still paying him 25 grand per week of that. I didn't realise that was in there, but I don't care. Just get him off my team sheet, you know. Get him out the team. Much in the same regard as I wanted Diarra out. Diarra, who, as you'll see here, is currently unregistered. He has a bid for him on loan, but literally, as soon as the bid came in and I accepted the bid, he then went and twisted his knee. So I don't know how that's going to go when it comes to him going for his medical, but I really hope he's not just doing that to get out of the transfer and put his feet up for the rest of the year, considering he knows he's now not registered for the league. So that is my rant. I don't think I've got any more things to go over. If anything else crops up randomly, I did have a little look at the central midfielders. I couldn't find anyone to really replace Sharok. I might have a look at free transfers, but I don't really want to be forcing a move if it isn't too necessary. So I'll see you fine folks back here either for the game or for a little bit more news in just a second. Right everyone, I've gone through all of my rambling of random bits. And, well, we are now up to the Euro Cup playoff draw. So, let's head on into this one with Darcy Holmes, our personal assistant. So, view a draw. As you can see, we've got 3, 6, 9, 10 matches, which is a little odd. So, I'm not quite sure how this one pans out. These are all the teams that could potentially be in it. As you can see, there's quite a lot of or going on. So yeah, that's where the tier system goes. One plays one, one plays another, they play each other to get to us. But yeah, let's see who we end up with anyways. Draw teams. Zoya will play at home. Okay, so on this one it does stay against either Kiev, Galatasaray or AEK. We then have, wait, Galatasaray? Or Galatasaray finished second? Interesting. We're not going to go through all those. Right, CSKA Moscow is what... Okay, fair enough. We skip the whole, we could play one of about 50 teams. We are going away to Moscow. That's going to be an interesting away day. We're not quite used to the weather over in Moscow, but I'm sure we'll put on a nice display for the rest of the teams. Here you go. I'm going to slowly scroll. Okay, there's not too many. So these are the other matches if you're particularly interested in this cup draw. But we have CSKA Moscow. Now, like I said, I'll be playing that first away game. No. I think I'm going to change things up, you know. We want to go enjoy Moscow. If we end up going out in the first round, I don't want us to waste this opportunity to have a nice trip to Moscow in an episode. So we are going to go to Moscow. We're going to do both legs of that. We're going to do the first game of the season in today's episode. Then we're going to go and do both of the cup games before we return for, I guess, this one against Kasimpasa? Something like that. I probably butchered it in about 20 different ways in like my 4 attempts, but still. that is who we've got. We have a nice big away day to CSKA Moscow. I think that's going to be a fun one. It's not the easiest of draws, but we don't want easy. We want fun, entertaining, and a nice little trip to Moskva. So I'm going to fast forward on. We'll probably be heading into the match this time, so I'll see you there in just a second. Right, everyone, important decision time. As you can see, it's time to pick our captain and vice captain for the upcoming season. And, well, our assistant agrees we should keep Zubzuk as our captain, but for vice captain, he seems to think Lassen is not good enough and that we should drop him for Edigan. Well, if we have a little look over here on the right-hand side, Edigan is 11 in leadership, Lassen is 12. He's 12 on teamwork, 13. He's worse in all departments. We are keeping Lassen as our vice captain. I don't see anyone else who is within the playing squad who we can replace. Now, Halit, for the future, he is, of course, captain material. 2-star at the moment, though. He is not going to be playing many games. But when he develops and gets into the first team, I reckon he's going to be our captain with that 15-16. But for now, we have Zubzuk with Lassen as a backup. Edigan's not as good as Lassen, so we are going exactly with that. So that is our captaincy. We are almost up to game time. I think that's probably the next thing that will be coming up. So I'll see you fine folks for the game in just a second. Okay, so we had quite a few little bits to get through, but it is finally time to crack on with today's game. Of course, we are playing Konyaspor here in beautiful Bursa. And before we do that, though, we are going to have one little look at one thing, and that is our games in the pre-season. So I, of course, handed this over to our assistant, Jason Dodd, and, well, he did a decent job. So first game, we faced Başakşehir. We managed to win that one 1-0. Papaka, of all people, was the one who got the goal in that one. Not quite sure we used. Okay, so it was starting lineup. He added Papaka to the bench, and Papaka did a good job. Coming off the bench, went and got that goal. We then won the second one, 8-0. As you can see, our new signing got 4 goals in that one, so he had a good showing in that. Demir Gerkan got a couple as well. Eren Gullier got 1, and we even had 1 for the Anal Monster. Then, in the next one, a hat-trick. Jesus, he scored 4 goals in that one and 3 goals in that one. Hopefully he can be as prolific against the bigger teams. Demir managed to get 1, Edigan got 1, and of course Mehmet Ozkan got himself on the score sheet as well. Galata would then have Demir, he got a couple, 1 for Gullier, 1 for... Okay, so it looks like it's our wingers and strikers who are getting the goals. Shirok, Mad even came on and got 1, so it's nice to see our wingers are getting the balls in, they're getting goals in, our strikers are scoring, it's all looking good. Then, he even scored 1 here as well. Edigan got 2 penalties, Gerkan got 1, and Milinkovic managed to get himself a hat-trick. So, he looks to be getting back nice and happy. It's nice to see him and Mad scoring some goals, especially after I upset them, and we didn't really need to upset them, because I'm now planning on keeping them around. At least for the time being. Milinkovic, he's on our bench. Same with Mad. They're foreign players. We would like to take them out and get Turkish players, but finding suitable Turkish replacements at the same quality, a little bit hard. So we've got to stick with them for now. It's a bit of a shame. Like I said, we have the problem of if I bring Milinkovic on, for example, for Eren, we then have an issue here with the 6 foreign players. So we do need to be a little careful of that. Luckily, we've got Anal. So what we can do is bring Anal on, which would limit it on at least one side. Or perhaps we'd go, say, Anal Milinkovic. And then, oh yes, that messes with the homegrown thing as well. I don't know if that counts for during a game though, so I think we should be okay in that regard. So we'll just put them back onto the bench where they belong. This is the lineup we are going for. So we have Zubzuk in goal. Our new back line of Blackett alongside Kuble and Gordinho. Lassen on the right hand side. As you can see, Kuble and Gordinho are already linking up quite nicely. Lassen is linking up with Gerkan on the right hand side of attacking mid. And then Eren on the left, of course, due to this new ruling of dropping from 7 to 6. He now slots in on that side. Sharok and Emrihan in central midfield, linking up well as per usual. Mehmet in front of them and Carranza up front. I'm going to butcher Carranza's name so many times, so I apologise in advance if I manage to butcher his name. Luckily, I've had a little bit of sleep since some of the prior sections. I did record this in a couple of blocks, so I should be a bit more energetic in this game. Emery Edigan, wow, 8.76 is his last 5. He's been on fire. So is our new striker though, look at that, 8.62. 8.62, 8.7, 8.1. Like, I get it, we've played some not so good sides, but it's nice to see. It is definitely nice to see that our players are coming in and doing well straight off the rip. So, that is the starting lineup. The bench, of course, is Atbek, Musin, Obilor, Ahmet, Mailman, Volkan, Milinkovic, Anal, Sinan, and Matt. So, without further ado, let's head on out to pitch side. We don't have any opposition instructions to add and all that jazz because it's not quite game day yet. So, we shall just fast forward a little bit, get to the meeting screen where we shall talk to our good old friend Mr. Jason. So Mr. Jason, what do you suggest? The pitch is in very good state. There's only 25,442 tickets sold for today's game, even though we have a capacity of 42,985, which is a little disappointing, but we can put these opposition instructions on and that will do. He thinks we should bring on Kurt, move Ozcan and Adigan around and take off Sharok, but no, I really don't. That is just a silly idea. So, team selection, we have our team. We're at home and we're a better side than Konyaspor. I don't think balanced is the way to go. I think we go attacking, or at least positive. So, we're going positive. As you can see, tactically, it has gone down a treat. Our German friend isn't here to complain, but our new Argentinian friend is a little bit worried about the pass into spaces doesn't suit his passing. He's also concerned with working the ball into the box doesn't suit his passing. I don't know if he's realised this, but he's the lone striker. He doesn't really have to worry about stuff suiting his passing necessarily, because he only has to pass it back to the cam, maybe, or a winger who drops inside, but for the most part, he isn't going to be passing. He's going to be receiving and shooting. As for Obilor, passing in space doesn't suit him. Obilor, you've been fine. You're on the bench now anyways. Godinho is our starter. Not too much of a worry in that regard as well. It's just nice to not have our German friend constantly complaining, to be honest, as he's out on loan back in Germany. Now, their team, do they have anyone who jumps out at us? Not unless Peter Lee Vassell is any relation to Darius. I don't think there's anyone who really jumps out at me. So, let's go past this. We're favourites for a reason. Go out there and make sure the left... Yeah, exactly. Make sure they know exactly why we are the favourites. So, G. Gonzalez, otherwise known as Guillermo Gonzalez, the man from Go publication, who always seems to come and interview us recently. Well, most pundits suggest that Julian... Is it Julian or Julian? I guess it's Julian. Julian Carranza. I'll just call him Carranza, shouldn't I? Carranza's performance will be the key factor in determining whether you have a successful season or not. Is that a fair assessment? I mean, he wasn't here last year and our defence did amazing and we trickled in enough goals to get up to third. But I think Carranza, if he scores the goals I expect him to score for the amount of money we've paid, it could be a big change. He could be the one that pushes us to second, who knows, even top. That would actually be a miracle, but absolutely, Julian is crucial to this team when he plays well. Everyone else does. I mean, he's only just arrived, so that's a bit random, but I think our squad is strong one, but clearly Julian... Now, we're going to do the weird one, which doesn't make much sense considering he hasn't been here very long. Do you think Bursaspor can get off to a winning start? Our preparation is complete, and I know the lads will get a good result. Got to have confidence in the boys. That cheeky little grin from our new striker, whilst we have our deadly serious new left back. On the other side, they have this random regen, and he looks kind of angry over on the left. And, yeah, no games, of course, have been played anywhere else in the league. This is the opening day of the season. And, well, let's just get out of there. We don't want to watch the circles. We just want to crack on with things. And they've got an early corner headed away by our new striker, though. I have forgot to add set pieces. So we are running with the same people who are taking set pieces from before. I should probably look at bringing Carranza. He's probably going to be half decent at, say, penalties. So it might be a good idea for me to add him into those. And Blackett, we don't need to worry too much about Blackett. He's a defender. So he ain't going to be taking too many corners or free kicks. He might be taking some deep. I haven't really established if he's any good at free kicks. But I'll figure all that out between episodes. It's not too much of a worry for now. Shirok throws it into Mehmet, plays it back to Shirok, and Mehmet has the ball. Lovely pass across, but Gerkan shot is saved by Erka. Don't know how that one didn't go in the back of the net. A little disappointing to see that Mehmet is already on a... Oh, sorry, not Mehmet. Shirok is already on a yellow card. That is a worry. We've already got Shirok on a yellow card. We don't want early suspension, Shirok. Please do not get yourself suspended. We've got enough games to deal with without suspensions and that messing up rotations. And yeah, Shirok, behave yourself. Just behave yourself. But that is the first half. We got 7 shots, all 7 on target to their 0 and 0 on target. But unfortunately, we just haven't been able to breach their defence. 1.3 XG to their absolutely nothing, of course. 4 corners to their 1, 4 fouls to their 13, 2 yellow cards to 1 yellow card, 88% passing to 78, 67% possession to 33. That's also randomly reminding me I haven't even set our training up yet for this season, so I need to set the training. The training's still on the defaults, but we'll sort that again before the next episode. So I've got a little bit of work to be doing between now and the next episode. Lucky for me though, we've only got like 1 game between now and the next episode because we are of course doing the Europa Cup and we need to qualify for that. So we are favourites here. Go out there and give the fans a performance to cheer for. I mean, what's our range? 6.7, 7.1, 6.9, 6.9. You know what? No. Lads. I'm not happy with your performance out there. I've got to be more aggressive. I've got to tell them to pick it up a little bit more because I'm being a bit softy-softy. I need to tell them, no, that just wasn't good enough. Shirok, throwing it in, throws it straight to them. Luckily, they clear it to Kublai. Kublai plays it up to Blackett. Lovely through ball by Blackett to Aaron. Oh, it's a lovely save by Erka, who pushes it onto the post. And it's cleared to Mia. Mia gets it over to Shengelia. And that's it. That's the end of that highlight. Okay. Right, let's crack on. Let's get some substitutes going. Let's freshen things up. Get the team going. Right, Musin's coming. Oh, Jesus. We have 3 yellow cards throughout the team. Obilor comes in there. So we're going less about who's underperforming. Right. You know what? No, Volkan, you're not coming on. I love you, but you're not coming on right now. Mehmet is going to drop back to there. We're going to bring Sinan up. Gerkan is then going to come off for Anal. That is our 4 substitutes. 3 of them are some of our better performing players. Kublai and Blackett are struggling. Our new striker's not doing bad, but he's not doing great. Same with Adigan and Zubzuk. And we have Mehmet, who's questionable with these throw-ins at the moment. And Aaron, who's been having a good game. So, hopefully that's enough to push us on to go get a goal. Because right now we have a ball draw. Which is nice in terms of our defence, but we'd like to pick up a result. So, lads. Demand more. In fact, we're going attacking. They've had 1 shot all game, not on target. We've had 10 on target. Let's go get a goal. You know, we are the better team, so let's go and show it. And we already have a couple more yellow cards. Our team is really looking to get some suspensions right now. I subbed 3 players off on yellow cards, and we have 3 more on yellow cards. Blackett, Obilor, and Mehmet all are now on yellow cards. I can't substitute all of them, so yeah, we're holding on to that last substitute just in case someone gets sent off, I guess. And we've got an extra one in case someone, of course, gets injured. Sinan will chase this one down, though. Lovely collection by Sinan, but Emma's trips him up from behind. That has to be a sending off, surely. No? Ref, he just straight tripped him up. There was no attempt of a tackle in that. He just tripped him up. Hey. Fine, stay on your feet. And I'm going to demand more. And also get rather aggravated that they can get away with just tripping our player up. And he only gets a yellow when he's about to break through their defence, because he's much quicker than their defender is. Dirty. Sinan, though, with a free kick. Can we get something going last minute? Emrehan gets over to Sinan on the left-hand side. Can Sinan whip in a nice cross? He whips it in. Anal! Come on! Some last-minute anal adventure has gone and saved us from getting a ball draw. Lovely header from Anal. Let's have another look at this one. Emrehan plays it over to Sinan. Sinan with a beautiful effort gets it past Shengalia, and Anal beats Bahik in the air to nod it past Eka in the bottom left-hand side. Nice to see. Would have been disappointing having all those shots and not getting a goal in the end, but we did. 12 shots on target. 12 shots to their 3. 11 of the 12 were on target. They had absolutely 0 on target. 1.77 XG to 0.2. 7 corners to 3 corners. 12 fouls to their 26. Dirty team. 6 yellow cards to 5. Bit weird, that, isn't it? We had half as many fouls, but we had 1 more yellow card than they did. Referee, you seem a little dodgy. 88% passing to their 82. 59% possession to their 41. So, Zubzuk, he got a 7 rating in goal. Blackett did okay with a 6.9. 7.2 was a good rating for Kubilay. Obilor with a 6.8 and Mehmet with 6.9 was okay as well. Emrehan wasn't outstanding, wasn't bad with a 6.8. Mehmet got a 7.2. That's a good performance considering he played 2 positions as well. Sinan did a good job with a 7.1. Eren with a 7.2 also did well, but Anal was the star of today's game with that goal and 7.6 rating. Karanza got a 6.7. He was okay. Didn't do too bad, didn't too great. He basically had a mad performance, as I like to now refer it. In terms of players substituted, Lassen with a 6.6. That's very disappointing. Godinho 6.9. That was okay, but he was of course on that yellow card. We then have Gerkan 6.8, again, similar situation, was playing okay, just got a yellow card. And Sharok, again, was playing okay, just got a yellow card, 6.8 for him also. So, that is not a bad way to get off to the season start. Well done, lads, good win for us. It was a little nervy that you left it so late, but thankfully we had a little bit of anal in our back pocket. So, dramatic late goal was something for you to savour. How do you rate that moment? That's what football is about. It was a joy to behold. You prevented Konyaspor from mustering so much as a single shot on target. Does that perhaps show how dominant? Yes! We played perfect, and now the next step is to do the same thing on a consistent basis. We can be pleased with our defensive performance today, for sure. It's not often that our goalkeeper will have very little to do. I mean, our defense is usually good. I think that's a bit pessimistic on my point, but it was better than the alternative, I would say. So, we are only 1 of 2 games to go ahead, so right now we sit top of the table with a 1 goal difference. I don't think we're going to stay there for very long because there's Galatasaray to play, Fenerbahce to play, but it's a nice start, I guess. We can't do anything more than pick up a victory in our first game, so it's a good way to start the season. We then have... Seriously? After refereeing performance, which generated plenty of discussion, how do you think it reflected on the standards of officiating? I'm sure we all have our opinion, and it's about time we had a What? This guy seriously had an issue with the way that game was refereed. If anyone should have an issue with the way that was refereed, it's me. We had 6 yellow cards to their 5. They had twice as many fouls. Just for context. Like, that's nuts. So, if anyone should be complaining about refereeing decisions, it should be us. Anyways, that is, of course, it for today's episode. I've rambled on enough. This is probably going to go over an hour if I keep going, so I'm going to finish it here. Of course, we are going to play CSKA Moscow. We are going to head to Mokba for our next episode. So I hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you all have a lovely night. Goodbye.